No. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Live from the Attic, number 11, with our special guest and the homie, Mr. Josh Pence. How's it going, Josh?
What's up, everybody?
What's been going on? What's new, dude?
With me?
Yeah, with you.
Oh, dude, nothing, man. I mean, kind of stuff, but not really. I'm turning 30 in 6 days, so that's going to be new.
Very new.
Other than that, dude, just buying too many Hot Toys, man, as you know. Buying too many Hot Toys. Now I'm buying graded comic books. Don't know why. I'm just trying to keep my hobby entertained, I guess. I don't know.
Keep it going.
You know, you gotta keep it fresh. That's the important thing that I found out. Especially with quarantine, man. Whew, I'm finding all sorts of stuff to spend my money on.
Yeah.
It's not smart either.
It's really easy just to press that buy now button.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Easy. Or like the other Friday, I was on a comic book live sale thing. And in between, like, they were putting up stuff, I was going on eBay and I was just like typing in super low offers. Woke up the next morning to like 4 or 5 accepted. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I got to buy them at this point.
I've committed.
Yeah, because it's that thing, like, you put a price, you're like, well, I would only buy it for this price. So if they accept it, cool. And you don't think they do because it's like 40% less than what they're asking. Yeah. And then they accept it. You're like, all right, then. Okay.
Gotta do this.
Yep. So that's pretty much it, man. You know.
Nice. Greco, what about you, dude? What's been going on?
I've had a roller coaster of a weekend. I gave Craig and Ed a little heads up. I just came back from a pick where I met up with. We got a call from a guy that runs a local video game shop, and he obviously hasn't been open, but he's been still buying some stuff. So it's turning into a contact for us anytime he gets any toys, which he did. So what started off as going after a vintage G.I. Joe lot turned into like my buddy buying a bunch of Master System stuff for himself, and then we even dug around in his basement a little bit and came away with a bunch of goodies. So that was a highlight of the weekend. The day before had a lot more promise, but those eventually fell through for various reasons. But I'm glad we ended up on top.
That's awesome, dude. Mr. Ed, what's been going on in your world?
Well, work was torture this week. I did so much stuff for work, and then, like, obviously making some videos as well. But a highlight of this week was probably me picking up 2 vintage store light-up signs that you used to find over in toy stores, and I'll be doing a video on those. And I've also been buying lots of stuff, but in Europe, it takes a while for it to reach you. So now everything is converging to this week. And it's like every week there's a new package on the doorstep. And my girlfriend's like, what the hell did you buy? So it's like, okay, maybe I got to hit the brakes on just, purchasing everything I see. But yeah. Good stuff is on the way. Flea markets are going to open up in Belgium again, and tomorrow I will be heading out to a collector who's doing a COVID free. COVID free.
Is that guaranteed?
No, not guaranteed, but making sure like nobody else will be there when you're there to go to a garage sale. So it's cool. the right rules apply for it. You have to pick like a time slot, and there's lots of cool vintage stuff out there. So hopefully I'll be able to shoot a video and find some good stuff tomorrow. So nice, that's what's been going on for me.
For myself, it was a pretty crazy week at work, and then I was recovering from my birthday weekend, which was off the chain.
Oh, did you celebrate that?
Yeah, kind of a little bit. Maybe a little bit too much. But yeah, that stream was amazing, guys. Thank you all again. Always remember that. But yesterday I went and I had another backroom toy hunt, and I picked up 2 grails for a really good price, which I'm going to premiere tomorrow on YouTube. So y'all can join me for that and see what I got. So
I think I know what that is.
Yeah.
Now I'm remembering.
But today's topic, guys, is kind of like there could be a couple different ways to say it, but what explanations led you into toy collecting? Was it something from growing up, something new, something you just wanted to do? So I'm going to start off with our guest, Mr. Josh.
Okay. So what got me into toy collecting?
Yeah. Or what do you think it was?
What do I think it was? I think so. I actually like answering this question. So I'll try to make it as short-winded as possible. When I was a kid, my first like memories of like having a mass amount of toys was around the episode 1 days with Star Wars. I think I turned like 9 or 10 that year whenever it came out. And I got a bunch of like the episode 1 toys for my birthday. Super hyped about it. So from then on out, I was always like into playing with action figures, obviously up until the not cool days of like late middle school, early high school, like not cool anymore. So when I finally became an adult, I had my own money and I started, I think it was YouTube. I think I started watching Cincy and a couple of the other guys, and I saw that like toys and all that stuff was like still in the world. It wasn't like not cool anymore, I guess you could say. So I started watching their stuff, and then I started like kind of venturing out and doing my own like hunts per se. My first toy purchase as an adult was actually episode 1 figures from eBay, and I thought those were like the coolest things. Again, I got them for like $3 or $4, you know, and it's just like, look how cool, and displayed it and everything. And then I went into a Meyer. I think that's more of a like North Midwest type store. And Karina and I were walking around, and I remember so vividly seeing Black Series. It was the wave with Greedo and Han Solo in it.
Yep.
And I remember looking, and I was like, $20 for an action figure? Like, really? I remember looking at Karina, I was like, I'd never pay $20 for this. Like, it's just not a thing. Like, that's a lot of money. And
here it starts.
Dude, and it's always funny, like remembering that, and here I am spending $300, $400, sometimes $500. You know, I spent over $600 on a pair of shoes, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. But thinking back, $20 an action figure is always just like, why would I ever do that? Who would do that? So when I saw the Black Series, I saw that Star Wars had new stuff. And unfortunately, I missed like the golden age with the vintage collection and Clone Wars and stuff. And I remember I went back on eBay and I started researching the Black Series. Like I had no idea what that was. And I wasn't on social media at that time. So I didn't have any Facebook groups, but I was a part of like a forum. It's called Jedi Temple Archives. It was just like a news website pretty much, but you could comment on it. So I remember following stuff on there and getting an idea of like, oh, this is in stores. So I started like going to Walmarts and everything. But when I got on eBay, I got like a big lot of Black Series figures for like $100. There was like 10 or 12 figures. And I went to the store. I bought like a bookshelf, like a half bookshelf. It was like the most pathetic thing ever. And I set all my stuff up. I was like, this is cool. I was like, I actually like this again. Like it made me feel good. Karina was hyped about it. Like she fully supports everything that I do. And it's kind of just grew from there. And I started realizing the nostalgia of having stuff that I had as a kid. Because that's what really started me collecting, was buying all that, like the Uncanny Toy Biz X-Men figures, some of the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like the movie with like the rubber reptile skin or whatever it's called, the movie stars. I bought a couple of those loose. I displayed them. Bought a bunch of carded X-Men Uncanny stuff, and I just appreciated what I had as a kid now, because I could like really chase them down and buy them with my own money and relive like kid experiences or past birthdays. And then I just like jumped off the edge, and I started getting into like more adult based collectibles with, you know, Hot Toys and figure arts and all sorts of stuff. But at the end of the day, man, I think I truly enjoy collecting just for the nostalgia purpose of. And Craig, as you know, we talk a lot with selling all my stuff and buying Star Wars Hot Toys again. Like Star Wars is my main thing. Like that's what got me into like pop culture or really enjoying stuff as a kid. And being able to have Star Wars in my display and my collection and just having those kind of like flickers of memories when I look at them, it really keeps me engaged and kind of grounded on why I started collecting. Because I've gotten off the path a lot, man. Like I've sold a bunch, I bought a bunch, and I've sold it again. So, but I mean, that's the cycle. And like I said before we started, it's just keeping it interesting, man. Like, so I think it's important if you're able to have a connection, like a nostalgia connection from your childhood, and you can truly appreciate it and relive it. I think that's like worth its weight in gold, man. Like it's almost, there's no value on having that memory almost at any time you want by looking or even buying something again, just to get it back in your life and have that feel good high, I guess we all call it.
Yeah.
So I really, that's what I enjoy, man. And it's taken me, because I've only collected I've been doing YouTube for 3, so I've probably only collected for 4, maybe 5 years. And that was it. Outside of like my childhood of having toys, but I don't really call that collecting. But so in this short amount of time, and it's taken me a couple of years to figure out what I want and what I want to actually be in my collection, because I found myself more or less like decorating my shelves, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, this is cool, let me put it on here. This is cool, let me do this. Or, like with Mythic Legions, cool figures, I didn't know about them until 2 years ago. I've known about Star Wars for 20 years of my life. What if I want to have more of an emotional connection? Star Wars. So I kind of had to take a step back, stop looking at my shelves or my walls as decorating, and just invest into my collection for once and buy things that I can see myself appreciating for years, not 6 weeks before something else comes out and I have to sell it to buy it. Like, I'm kind of tired of doing that. Like, it was nice because I haven't had to use real life money in years to buy any collectible. But I mean, I'm going to be 30. I want to buy a house, another house. Move out of this house, not buy 2 houses, and just grow up a little, man, but still enjoy collecting. And I can't buy 16 different things while trying to move forward in life with my family and other things. So
yeah,
as long as I can keep my collection focused, have those memories, and have fun with it, that's all I really care about at the end of the day. So yeah, that was my too long of an answer.
Focus is key, man. Being focused, that's what we all struggle with, I think. Greco, what about you, dude?
I think once I realized how much of a cash cow collecting could be, that's when I got interested in it. Just like by reselling and scalping, and now with the YouTube AdSense, like it's why wouldn't you want to do it? You're just leaving money on the table.
Too easy.
Yeah, exactly. So just pretty much making money out of all the people that are watching today is my main focus.
Wait till the brain deals come in.
No, but seriously, yeah, I wish I had some kind of like deep psychological answer as far as like why, what drives me to do it. I think it's bits in piecemeal. Like, I like a lot of different parts of the hobby. I like that it's a shared experience, at least the way I've been doing it. And obviously, like with talking with fellow collectors like you guys, even though we're distanced, we can still like come together and pretty much act as if we're next door neighbors. It's such a great shared experience, and with those that it just opened up a whole world of like friendships and relationships that I don't think any other type of hobby has done for me. So like, unfortunately, like as I got older, people kind of grew up and went the family route, and kind of like those day in day out friendships kind of withered away a little bit because everybody was sprouting up their own kind of like family circuses. So being able to get out there and hunt with other people or talk about toys and collecting, just kind of like, it's kind of like the status of what a friendship is nowadays. I don't know if that sounds kind of pathetic or sad, but for me, it's pretty exciting, especially when I can get out there and hunt or travel the globe and meet some of you guys. It's just a lot of fun. So I love the hunting aspect of it, just because, like Josh said, you want to keep it fresh, not only from a collecting standpoint, but if you're out there hunting, you never know what you're going to find. So that's definitely fresh. Keep things totally wide open, and it's just, so from that perspective, I love that part of it. Collecting, yeah, I think initially, like, I first started watching some YouTube videos, and it was like, oh, there's things like out here, Mo, that people are finding. Oh, I remember that as a kid. I had that. So a lot of those kind of like initial gut reactions, and that's what kind of drove me to my first like flea market or yard sale And when I found something at that point, like whether, I look back at some of my old deals and I was like, I can't believe I was that excited about spending like $30 for like a broken transformer. It's like a horrible deal that I should be embarrassed about now. But at the time it was just like, this is awesome that I even found this thing, that this still exists in some form. So that was like, that snapped off some things in my brain and kind of attached it to nostalgia. But I think what keeps me going is that, unfortunately, I don't have a great memory from childhood, so I can't certain things will stick with you forever. But I don't, despite that, I was pretty spoiled as a child and always got what I wanted. Basically, none of that stuck with me and retained it. So I don't know if that, I feel like an awful person because of that, because it makes me feel like I don't appreciate it as much as I should have. But it's almost like this new wave of hunting and collecting is creating new memories, and not artificial ones, but it's like I almost feel like a kid again, and it's kind of like replacing the memories that I lost, and just documenting it all on YouTube totally solidifies that I'll never forget it, because it's all of these adventures is just a click away.
That's true.
Very good.
I agree with
Good.
that.
Yeah,
I like that.
and the money.
And the money. Always
Yeah.
the money, dude. Ed, what about you, sir?
I think 15 minutes in, we already got correct.
Right.
For me, I think it started from childhood. It seems like I was destined to keep doing this. Like, even as a kid, I was known by teachers as the turtle kid because I was so into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So for me, playing with toys was kind of like an escape. I played with it a ton. I couldn't really. I had ADHD as a kid, and I couldn't really focus on video games for too long. So whenever I would play N64 or something like that, it would be like an hour, 2 hours tops, and then I'd need to do something else. So toys was like, it could go anywhere. And yeah, that whole fantasy world for me was just perfect. And then as I got older, like, toys was like, yeah, you're not supposed to play with toys anymore. But what did I do? I started playing in bands, which is also kind of like a kiddie thing to do, or a childish thing to do. And that was like the connection that I made with that was when I was speaking to Scott from Belvedere. I was telling him, like, yeah, for the next record, the label wants us to do more grown-up stuff. And he was like, yeah, but being in a band is childish. It's cool, but it's a childish thing to do. So I was like, okay, this actually works out for me, because I remember like being in bands and still, wearing Ninja Turtle shirts and stuff like that, because you could actually do that there. I remember having a He-Man toy I'd found at a flea market up on my Mesa boogie stacks and stuff like that. So it was like, it was always there, and it didn't really get to me until I start like really going to flea markets, have my friend Sam involved with, like, yeah, I collect that stuff. You can come along and buy stuff, whatever you want. So for me, once I went to university, I wasn't like, studying. Like, I was studying, but or going out to pubs after. I was like watching the G.I. Joe cartoons I didn't get to see as a kid growing up. I watched all of the movies I didn't get to see as a kid, like Star Wars I hadn't seen before I was like 19. The first ones, which is probably really weird for you guys. So I was like trying to catch up on all that stuff I had missed out on. And then when I got a bit older, started doing the whole collecting thing, the hobby kind of was like, hey, it's okay to do this now with, Big Bang Theory coming up, the whole geeky, being a geek, the whole cinematic Marvel universe. It was okay. It was like, yeah, sure, everybody does that now. Everybody's talking about the past, reliving the past in this way or in a new way with the newer toys coming out. So I think like even doing YouTube and collecting now, I'm just still that kid that is like trying to find all the stuff. Hey, what did I miss out on back in the day? And that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me curious about all that stuff. So yeah, for me, it's something that has been underlying and probably fed in by marketing from all these toys. Like, you have to collect them all, make sure you have the whole series, make sure you collect them all. Pokemon, collect them all. I guess it's just like, yeah, okay, we have to keep buying stuff. I think it's just been planted in my brain like that. So that's kind of my answer on it.
Awesome. Yeah, for me, I mean, I know Josh said earlier that he doesn't really count collecting as a kid, but for me, I collected Ninja Turtles. Like, I had a shelf, I would display them. Every week I would go to the store and buy the next one that I didn't have and try to display them, because, turtles don't really stand that well. So we have to use like their weapons to get them to stand and stuff. But I collected all the way up to like 7th grade. And then I got into baseball cards and basketball cards. And so my friend he had a garage sale, and he was like, hey man, let's sell all our toys and go to the card shop and, get a bunch of cards. I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I had like a huge, like one of those huge Home Depot large boxes just full of He-Man and Turtles and vehicles and play sets. And I sold it all. I mean, it was ridiculous, like maybe $10-15, just not smart. And so we went up to the card shop, got, 5 or 6 packs of cards. And I was like, cool, this is what I'm going to collect. These things are going to be like totally worth something one day. And I was wrong, totally wrong. And then it wasn't until like episode 1, like Josh was saying, that I started looking at Star Wars figures and would go to my Toys R Us, pick those up. And then after that, I started collecting retro games, going to the flea markets. And then I got heavy into bands after that, all the way up until like 2013. And then after I was done with that, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start collecting again. So, just like everybody else said, it's having stuff from your childhood, remembering better times and stuff like that. I mean, just like Josh said, you can't pay for that. So when I come into my toy room, I look around and I get lost in everything for, even if it's like 2 minutes. So it's a joy. It's fun meeting all you guys and everybody else. It's just been a blast and sharing everything. And so, yeah, for me, that's about it, dude. It's simple.
I want to put a pin in something that Greco said. There's a thing that he said that I really relate with recently, and it's being excited about finding the cheaper things, like from the beginning of whenever collecting or whatever, because I've watched a lot of my old YouTube videos too. 1, just to see how cringy they are, and 2, just to see like what I've collected and like how I've evolved. And I remember being hyped about finding a Marvel Legend or being hyped about finding a new Black Series figure, and it's just like, I've told Karina before, like, I miss those days. Like, I wish I could have that excitement to find a new Legend now, but instead it's just like I have to have a new Hot Toy or something crazy expensive to even, I don't know, get excited again. And so I would like to reel that back and kind of reset my mind and find enjoyment in just the little things again, because I feel like that's important to all of us at the end of the day.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, how different is it for you? Because I do buy new things from time to time, but I am primarily vintage, and like I said, one of the thrills for me is uncovering something that you don't know is there. Whereas someone that goes after newer stuff, you already kind of know what you're looking for. I mean, maybe the journey is a little windy, but I mean, do you feel like you're robbed of that excitement a little bit, or depending on what you're chasing? So, or do you find it in different forms?
I think that both. I think buying the new stuff and hunting the new stuff, it still has its thrills, but in a different way. Like, if you go do one of your basement dives or whatever, like, and you move a box and you find, stuff that you've never seen before or something that you've been wanting, and you get that excitement, I think it could kind of relate to a newer collector of walking down the Walmart aisle and not expecting to find that new wave. And you're like, why? Because distribution sucks. Let's just be honest. So finding it in the wild and it's new, it probably doesn't have the same factor as like moving a box, that you search for 3 hours in a basement or whatever, and you finally find something. But to me, a lot of things that I've started collecting, there are actually like older pieces from it. So like 4 or 5, 6 years ago. So like when I go to a toy shop or a toy show, like I can still find something like this. I don't know if you guys can see this Battle Droid thing right here. The sideshow. I had zero idea that thing was made. But 2 weeks ago or last week, and Kyle and I walked into a toy show and I saw it and it was a great price. I have to get this. I was like, this is awesome. So I got that excitement because I never knew that was actually made, because, you know, Sideshow's been doing stuff for like 10 years. So I still can kind of backlog and find older things or come up across new stuff, or older things, but that are new to me.
Gotcha. So, Josh, have you ever thought about dipping into vintage? Is there a certain line that you've been tempted to be like, because I know one time we talked about it, you were like thinking about gargoyles and like getting all those guys. Is there anything else that you've been tempted by vintage wise? Dude,
a lot, man. Like I still have my gargoyles figures. I think I have like 6 or 7 of them on card that I just couldn't part with. Nice. I had a lot of the Uncanny Toy Biz stuff, and I consider that vintage because that was, you know, I don't even know what that is considered, but I mean, it was early 90s. I think that stuff came out. So that's the stuff I played with as a kid, man. But if I could really do anything, it would be random stuff, bro. Honestly, like the old RoboCop figures and the RoboCop vehicles. Like, dude, my cousin had those, and like the SWAT vehicle that RoboCop had, and just a bunch of like the odds and ends stuff. No big lines, like probably not Ninja Turtles, because the only ones that I really remember was the movie star ones. But yeah, if money wasn't an option, it would be like the odds and ends stuff. RoboCop, maybe like the Beetleborgs.
Yeah,
I think those are called. Yeah, those are awesome. That show is so silly, but the toys were awesome. Gosh, and probably rebuy the Uncanny X-Men stuff, just because the cards and like the card backs are beautiful, and the features or the gimmicks that the toys would have, you just never see anything like that. Like I remember the Magneto having the magnet stuff. The 2 versions of Iceman where that comes with like his tray, and you put water and you freeze it, and he has his
in the freezer. Yeah.
Or the other one was you put the figure in the freezer and he changes colors. It's just like, why? Like, these are so cool. Like, I love that stuff. So
what else can we put in the freezer?
Yeah.
So it just all, and I always talk about it when people ask me about the Uncanny stuff. It's just those gimmicks really get me now as an adult, because they were cool as a kid and they're just as cool, if not cooler now. Because unfortunately now we have things where it's just like we get a one accessory and we're super excited. But back then it was just like the coolest things that they would do. So
yeah, the only thing that really survived is probably the glow in the dark feature. But like you know, like the Black Star used to have like that thing where there would be sparks inside. And obviously the ones you were talking about, the Toy Biz ones, they all have like their own cool special gimmick. Not just thrown over the whole line of toys. So it's weird that only glow in the dark continues to exist even in the newer toys.
And it was cool how in the Uncanny stuff, like the gimmicks and stuff actually worked for that figure. It wasn't just like, you know, random, like every figure had this gimmick or whatever. It was just like the Iceman. When he gets colder, he changes to different color because he's freezing or whatever. It's just, I don't know. Those things are super fun to have, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, you've definitely kind of lost that, right? As time and like technology has improved, like people are more focused on points of articulation and interchangeable parts. You definitely lose like what makes a superhero. You know, you don't have that like mutant power anymore. And I don't know what that means necessarily, because that's something that I think drew us to that figure or character as children, because it helps you. You know, it's just not an imagination thing anymore. You can actually like bring it to life when you play with the toy.
I think it has obviously a lot to do with the times are changing, unfortunately, and I think to hit what one of you guys said about how like the nostalgia factor or whatever, but I think back then, like things were so cool and us as kids didn't really appreciate it. But even today, like everything that was back then, like styles, music, everything is now trending again almost.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like kind of like an underground, but not really underground. But you see a lot of people dressing like they're in the 90s, like the toys and pop culture stuff is
neon
cool.
colors.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to say like a household term because I feel like it's always been, but like it's more talked about and accepted, I think, in society of being a nerd to say, now everyone, like there's super famous celebrities that collect toys or comics, and you would never have guessed that, but now it's cool. But back then,
I'm one of them.
But back then, it really wasn't, I guess, cool. I don't know. Nerds were always it was a bad term.
Back in the 90s, Nicolas Cage used to have like one of the biggest comic book collections, right?
Yeah.
Then he went bankrupt, and then he had to sell off everything. But yeah, like almost all of the key.
Then he was doing like 20 movies a year.
Yeah.
Like really good ones.
Yeah, I never knew that actually.
Yeah, like snakes and stuff. Like he was out there collecting wise in the 90s. Yeah, before he went crazy, since he.
Josh, somebody had a comment for you, and it said basically, what do you have on pre-order, Hot Toy wise?
Jeez. Well, I did just last night pre-order the Han Solo Deluxe from the Solo movie, because I saw somewhere that he's on like last chance opportunity, I think. So I have him, Qui-Gon Jinn, Commander Cody, Captain Rex, Leia and Wicket.
Jeez.
Solo Darth Maul. And I still have more that I haven't technically pre-ordered yet. But that's it for now. But
you got space, dude?
Yeah, actually I have a Detox that's still empty, and our IKEA just opened up, I think last week. So Karina and I think for my birthday next weekend, I think we're going to go down, probably get one, if not two Detox, or get something else cool display wise. Because with the graded comics and stuff that I'm getting, I have the idea to display them behind me for now. So at least like I can appreciate them and they're not just sitting there. So if they offer something cooler as a display option, like a big cabinet versus the Detox, I might go with that. But yeah, I got to make room, so to speak.
Me too. Let's see. T-Man says Hasbro put out survey years ago asking if people would like better sculpt and posability or gimmicks like electronics. Gimmicks lost. Yeah. Dude, I think really if Hasbro were to redo that line in the same scale and everything, I think people would totally pick them up in a heartbeat. I think I would. Like put a, $14 on them, $12 on them. I think that's a no-brainer.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it would, but I mean, who knows? I think 6-inch figures like the Legends and Black Series, that's all really Hasbro's focused on, because I mean it is their money makers at the end of the day. Because I feel like the vintage collection, it's only been out for a year again, or maybe a year and a half, and it's they're really not even putting that much effort into it. I mean, all the vehicles that they're putting out, too expensive in my opinion. I mean, $90, $130. Yeah, they're cool, but you're not going to get very many people buying them. Because the Black Series collectors, 6-inch, I think that's for the modern collectors, that's the line that they want to see.
Yeah,
6-inch stuff, which sucks.
Are those toys like toys you open up from the package, or is it something you keep inside of the package? Because I mean, whether it would have a gimmick or not, like the articulation, would it matter if it stays inside the package?
I've always thought that as well, because I started off being like strictly like I never open anything, I just display it. But then when I started collecting Legends, I opened them and I was like, these are awesome out of the box. Like, this is fun. So I started opening everything. I think it's weird. I think even the people that want to keep it in box, they still want all the articulation and all of it, even though they're not going to utilize the articulation. I don't know, because They did the retro 5 POA, the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
I don't see very many people opening them. I mean, I know some people are, but a lot of them just keep them on the card. So
yeah, they look great on the card.
Yeah, I think it's both. If they gave us 5 POA stuff, I'm sure a lot of people buy them articulated. People buy them to keep closed, I guess. I don't know. Jesus, Cincy.
What did he say?
Right there.
Oh, okay. Jesus.
Maybe you want to click on.
Well, not all of us have that option.
Let me click on that. Let me see.
We work with what we got.
So I know Craig collects modern. Do you guys collect much modern at all, or is it strictly vintage?
I'll talk. I was trying to not that I've been like taking over the conversation, but it looked like he was ready to jump in, but I misread the room on that. No, I'm not. I mean, I'm definitely like super weighted towards vintage. But every once in a while, like something new and cool will come out, and I have to have it. Whether it's like a revamp of, but it's almost always like a revamp of something,
right?
Older that I wanted. But it never goes, or at least it hasn't up until this point. It's always like certain spots that I need. It's not. I don't need like a whole line of things. So like even like with Transformers. That being like my number one vintage thing, I still tend to go after the newer toys that give like an ode to Generation 1 or have that. I describe it as like it's like the original look, but with like modern toy technology.
Yeah.
So things that were like the original toy might have fallen a little short, either in like sculpt wise or playability. But even then, I'm picking and choosing, certain characters and whatnot.
Cool.
But I'm trying to think of any. Like, I'm not really a Star Wars guy, so I'm not doing like Black Series. I like comics and Marvel and the stories, but I'm not really doing Marvel Legends. Like, I might pick like one-offs. Like, I might grab like a like a Mysterio or just random characters that. But again, that's something if I like fall into it, like I'm not really like running out to a store to grab it. Right. And the things that I have been hunting that were in more of a retail setting is like total nods to nostalgia, like the retro Ghostbusters, the Kenner ones that they just released at Walmart.
Yeah.
Or when they were doing the G1 reissues, like that's kind of the stuff that actually gets me out of the house and out there. But like the higher end stuff, like I haven't really dipped into like Hot Toys or Sideshow or if I had like, you were talking about RoboCop earlier, like if I got like was it a Hot Toys Z209? They made one, right? Or at least one like that. I would love to have. My consolation prize was the NECA one, so I picked up a few NECA figures. Not on the same level, like at least price point wise. But yeah, NECA is probably the closest I've gotten to.
I think they're one of the best toy companies out modern wise right now. They knock everything out of the park, in my opinion. Yeah, they're great.
So yeah, that's definitely the. Cool. Yeah, you just gotta whatever motivates me. A few things here and there.
No, I think that's a great way to do it, honestly.
What about you, Ed?
I always try not to buy the newer stuff, but some stuff is just so cool. Like, it's pretty much the problem with once we get it in Europe, we won't know for sure if it will reach Europe. The Ghostbusters did, so I did get those because they just look so cool. And the first 4 characters, I'm never going to be able to buy those on card because they're just too darn expensive. I also really like a lot of stuff that Super 7 has done. So actually saw Zombie Sailor on Instagram. He was doing like a Super 7 Motu sale, but I didn't buy it off of him, but I bought a Hero and a Eldor from another store because those remain to be unproduced and I wanted those toys. So I got those. And then of course, like the NECA TMNT movie ones, really like them. That movie is one of my favorites. So I think that was the thing that dropped the barrier for me on buying new stuff. The NECA TMNT movie toys, definitely.
Those look so good.
They're amazing.
I would love to get like some of the reissued Transformers as well, but we just don't have them in Europe. Honestly, they're not here. So yeah. Same thing goes for like Black Series Star Wars stuff. We don't see that here. The Legends, nothing. So,
do you think you would if you saw it though? If it
would just be in stores and you would be able to have the same type of discounts and like what is it called when stuff is on sale.
Clearance.
Yeah, clearance. Like, yeah, then I would be into that, and pick it up, maybe pick up two, and like flip and collect and trade.
Yeah,
but it's just not here. We don't even have it, and like the whole clearance thing, it doesn't work in Belgium. Like,
yeah, I gotta take you to
stuff going on.
I gotta take you to Walmart when you come in October.
Yeah. I probably won't be
blow
able
your
to
mind.
but
That's gonna be
what?
We got to film the whole thing. It's just gonna be like
Ed goes to Walmart.
yeah. He's gonna be on like cloud 9. It's gonna be
like a whole featurette, 2 hours and 20 minutes.
You mean you
white
get
screen
beef jerky and a Marvel Legend at the same time?
Yeah.
Why are the subs so big?
Dude, that was the same thing with like the gas station we went to every morning.
Oh,
There's
Quick Trip.
food here. There's there's everything here. This is
Quick
like a
Trip's
store in Belgium. This is a gas station. You can't be here serious.
You're like, look at all the drink selections. I don't know what to pick.
Yeah.
Free refills. What the?
It's crazy to think about that, like being in a different country. Because even like when I've gone to like Atlanta or just different cities, and I see this, I'm like, wow, you guys have this here? Like this gas station has this, or they have like a random store. So I can only imagine the culture shock coming like overseas. That would be, whew, that's awesome. I would love to have that feeling.
We threw him in pretty fast.
Yeah, it sounds like us going to Europe is going to be a huge disappointment, though.
We do have old buildings.
That's cool. Old buildings are cool. Yeah.
Corinthian
and Euro exclusive toys.
That's true. And you have chocolate.
Chocolate.
I will say though, I think one roadblock for me, as far as like getting the newer stuff, is just because I always have that like flea market mentality on, so it's hard for me to pay like retail price.
Yeah.
And I joke sometimes, like I feel like I have tried to haggle in like a retail environment before, and it's just not it's not what they do there.
Yeah.
So I forget. I'm trying to remember I actually tried, and they're like, "What are you doing? Like this isn't like this is a store. This isn't like I don't have like a table set up outside. Like, why are you trying to like negotiate?"
Cynthia asked a question. He said, "Do you guys collect any vintage lines that you did not collect as a kid?" Ed, let's start with you.
Yeah, like a lot. Thundercats. I got Primal Rage. I got A-Team. I got James Bond Jr. I got Mad Balls. I got X-Men. Toy Biz didn't really have that apart from Spider-Man. So yeah, tons of it. Yeah, but it's just that curiosity of what I knew was out there and stuff I didn't know about, like Food Fighters, all the bootleg stuff. So freaking cool. Dick Tracy, She-Ra, the Karate Kid.
Oh yeah,
stuff, and like movie toy lines, like not Waterworld. Did that have one?
Yeah,
I think Waterworld. You had like Terminator, you had Last Action Hero, you had the Robin Hood stuff, you had the Hook stuff, you had Sectars, Brave Star, Dark Star, Starcom.
Yep.
Tons of stuff. I also didn't have Ghostbusters growing up, but I did play with them over at friends' houses. So yeah.
Becca, what about you, sir?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And again, I don't know how much of this is like my memory failing me, because there's a lot of lines that I vividly remember like watching the cartoon and loving it. So I might have been more of like a cartoon kid than a toy kid. Although I had plenty of toys, but like off the top of my head, like I love Thundercats the cartoon, but I don't remember actually like buying or playing with any of the figures growing up. Just recently I picked up like some Mars Attacks figures, which love the movie, but didn't buy them when these came out. When did this come out though?
97 or 98?
96. So I was like 12. So yeah, I was still a kid. So yeah, I didn't pick these off the shelves, at least that I remember. Like Sailor Moon, I was big into the anime, but I wasn't picking up the Adventure Dolls. Maybe because they were called Adventure Dolls. But now I don't care. I love the things. Even though I just took them out of my D-top over here, but they're just being reorganized. They're not. It's not. I'm not making a political statement about Sailor Moon. But But yeah, there's tons of examples. Which again, for like I still have that strong connection from childhood, but it didn't necessarily equate to like toy purchases or collecting back then.
Yeah.
But it is now.
Gotcha. And Josh, I mean, you pretty much already said it. You kind of guiding what you've got, and then you're good. Besides maybe a couple potentially down the road with the RoboCop and stuff.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun to watch you get that stuff. It'd be like rooting you on. Yeah. For myself, actually, I had a lot of toys growing up. I was very fortunate. My grandmother, she was a hardcore garage seller, so she would literally bring me all this random stuff, and I would have it. And but I guess I don't know, video game wise, like I didn't have a lot of Game Gear stuff, so I collected that. Some other these obscure consoles, I picked those up before. So yeah, video game stuff mainly.
I'm getting requests in the comments. I'm just gonna hold up random toys throughout the show.
Yeah.
So here's Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget, where you could not see his face on the packaging until you opened it up. That was.
Can you also show the Steel Castle Grayskull, Greco?
Oh, I sold that.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you, but if you want to watch one of my videos, you're more than. It's totally documented. This has been asked for a few times, but yes, I do have a mint on card Lino. Just a recent acquisition. I actually won this in a toy raffle. There's actually like a Facebook toy groups where you can they pretty much auction off, not auction, but they raffle off prizes. And I had like a 1 in 80 chance of getting this, and I won. So that was a huge thrill.
Did that gimmick get another get featured in another toy line, the light up eyes, or was that just solely Thundercats that got that feature?
I mean, one differentiating factor was, I don't know if like the light up ring might be unique to Thundercats. Like I don't know if that, because I mean, there's been plenty of toys that have light up features in some shape or form, but the whole thing about like pressing metal against metal to make the lights turn on, that might have been unique to Thundercats.
That's pretty cool.
Nice. We have
so how much does that go for? Sorry, Craig.
I gotta say hundreds, right? I would think
at least. Yeah.
The fact that it was a 1 in 80 shot, I would assume it's pretty rare. I'm
trying to remember how much it cost. It might have cost like $10 per spot. So if they're
800,
8,000, no 800. What?
Yeah.
800. Yeah. Wow, that's good stuff. Sorry, Craig.
I'll do some quick research on eBay while you move on.
So TXVG Collector 82 says, as a kid, is there any toy you missed out on due to not being able to find it on these shelves? Josh.
Wow, that's tough because I don't buy any of that older stuff. Well, hold on, let me reread this. Is there any toy you missed out on due to not being okay? So as a kid, I can't relate because I never went out and bought stuff as a kid. But I will flip the question a little bit. And what did I miss out on that was on the shelves would probably be like the Clone Wars line from Star Wars. Because I think that came out like 2012-ish. So really like 6 to 8 years before I started collecting. So, I mean, that's relatively enough to where if I would have just started doing that, because I probably walked by them in stores multiple times. Because I would always like be around the toy aisle. I just never went in. So I would say the Clone Wars, just to flip the question up a little bit. So I would, because a lot of those, man, dude, they were like $8, and now each figure, dude, it's crazy. I mean, there's some that go for a couple hundred, and there's a lot that just go for like 40 and 50 is the average price for them now.
Yeah,
and they were all $7-8. So
crazy. Ed, what about you, dude?
I could never find the Technodrome. Like, never saw that in a store. And that's one I remember wanting to get. So I remember seeing it in like toy catalogs for toy stores, but it was never there. So it's when I can like confirm. I remember wanting it, going out to stores with my mom and being like, "You gotta find the Technodrome."
Yeah,
you'll find like the Technodrome Scout vehicle, but it was like, no, it's not the same thing. It's the big one with the eye on it. Ain't that one?
Come on, Mom and Dad.
It's the wrong one. Greco, what about you?
I mean, like I kind of alluded to earlier, I was pretty spoiled, so I there's no memory where like, oh, I missed out on this as a kid. I brought the story before where I was such a little jerk when my parents had the audacity of not buying me a Nintendo 64 on launch day, and I kicked a hole in the wall in response. But then I got it.
Spoiled
So,
brat.
but then I got it. So there's a little helpful hint for everybody in the audience how to respond to being let down. No, so yeah, as a kid, like nothing. I mean, and again, I was bigger into video games when I was growing up, and my parents were always out there like in line waiting to get the latest hot system. So I had it good, and I appreciate it, and even though they're not watching right now, but
Thanks, Mom.
yeah, thanks, Mom and Dad. But I mean, definitely now as an adult, there's been times where I've missed out on things like it usually has to do with like Walmart, like some of the newer like the Jetfire that came out and Omega Supreme.
Oh, yeah.
Like I don't even think Omega Supreme like hit store shelves, and like I think Jetfire like by the time it was already on clearance, and I didn't like run out the door to get it like immediately. Like that's kind of the stuff I'm missing out on nowadays. But again, I always have a very patient mindset when it comes to it. Like I just know somewhere down the line I'm gonna get that thing. And not have to overpay for it. So that's why I keep a wide net too in terms of my interests. So that anytime I'm going out there, I'm not, I'm not usually disappointed because I'll find something.
Oh yeah. Empire Toys has a really good question. What toy fair or con do you enjoy going to the most? Josh, this is a good one for you, dude.
That's tough, bro. Because I have big memories with each convention that I've been to. Wow. So non-biased, so not having any like personal relationships with the conventions at all. Like obviously Louisville was with you, Craig. C2E2 Celebration. There's all thing. I think outside of people who were with me, the best convention I think I would have been to is C2E2. That's where I bought my first piece of original comic book art comic page at. And it has such a good variety. Like literally it's half and half. Half of it's all art and the other half is all like shopping. So like toys, random stuff that you see at cons and all that. But I find like when I go to conventions, not toy shows, I love looking at Artist Alley and love seeing all the art and weird comics that you've never heard of and like up and coming people. Because that's when I usually choose to like kind of support like those people. Like I'll just buy random prints, like $10 prints here and there if they look cool, just to support the artists. Yeah. But toy show wise, I'll answer it two different ways. Columbus Toy Show. I haven't been to Kane County yet. I want to go there. We need to plan a boy trip for Kane County. But
it almost happened.
Dude, we had like the best plans. It was, oh man. But no, Columbus Toy Show, if anybody is in the chat or watches this later is local to Columbus or even like the surrounding states of Ohio, just look it up. It's worth the drive. So it's a great toy show. It's probably 200 tables of nothing but toys, all from random vintage stuff to what's out in Walmart right now. It's a amazing show.
It's a plethora of toys.
Yeah, a cornucopia.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, those would be my answers.
Nice. Ed, what about you?
I think the ones I've been to, probably the Comic Cons, Tronon in Belgium. Most of them usually have like a pretty good vintage alley. Toy fair, Dutch Toy Fair in Holland was a really good one. We were hoping to do one as well in Belgium, something kind of like that, and I had my hopes really set up for that one. So I think it's going to be happening in October, like a week before I hopefully can head out to Texas again. Those are the ones I've been to that have been really great at, offering cool toys. But obviously now I know pretty much every seller they're usually collectors, which is great. They're not just resellers doing it to make profit, but they actually have their own collections and their own stories. So it's always nice to meet these people.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I heard like Pixel Dan mentioning like a convention in Germany that was kind of like the New York Toy Fair thing you guys sometimes go to. So I kind of want to head out to that because I'm pretty close. It's like a 7-hour drive, which is doable. And I definitely want to head out to meet my buddy Empire Toys, to meet Aaron and do like a UK convention, because every time I see footage from his videos doing like live hunts over at the conventions, I'm like, there's like the Thundercats Mummer's Tomb in box there. There's a loose one. There's different stuff in all those videos that I never see that's out there. So I definitely want to do some more venturing into Europe, into the world to see what the toy conventions have in store or in convention, whatever.
Greco, what about you?
Yeah, so I mean, I haven't spread my wings too far or too wide in terms of like toy like conventions and bigger events like that. I mean, I've been to like New York Comic Con, and obviously, Massachusetts. I've been to Boston, and initially I was like super excited about it. Like it was all like just crazy, like the amount of people that were there and what you could find from artwork to comic book artists and toys and pop culture and cosplay, like everything, and just they packed everybody in there. So it was exciting at first, but as I got deeper into like my collecting, I feel like I get less and less interested in the big shows, just because it's not for me. Again, it goes back to just me, really wanting to get a great deal and finding something exciting. Just the opportunities are few and far between, and I understand it. Like I know the vendors there are paying top dollar to set up their tables, so you can't like fault them for asking for. They're looking for that cash windfall just to make their time and effort worth it. So those big shows I'm less interested in, but for me, really what makes it are the smaller local shows that I've been to, like Harry's Toy Show in Franklin, Massachusetts, which nobody other than Sprooch Game Hunting in the chat has heard of because we're local. I love going to those ones because you're dealing with local collectors and vendors. It's a small show. It's literally set up in like a 2-room Knights of Columbus hall, but that's where you meet cool people, you get great deals because people aren't paying an arm and a leg for tables. And then that translates like we have like a bunch of great flea markets in the area too. So, but that being said, I definitely am open to. I want to hit up some of these other spots because I know, like, you mentioned like the Columbus one, the Kane County, like those are ones I've heard of, and it sounds like it'll definitely be worth the trip to get out there. And that might be more in line of like what I'm looking for. So I'm definitely open to it. But for now, it's definitely the smaller scale stuff that kind of rings my bell.
Yeah. I think I want to say that if I would go to Kane County, it would probably be my favorite toy show ever. So I'll say that. But as far as shows that I've gone to a lot, but I think PowerCon, man, for me was like one of the best shows I've ever been to ever. It was just the atmosphere and the people and the vendors and everything that I am into was there. Pretty much all affordable too. The guest list was top notch, and it was an insane show. So I really recommend anybody that's into Motu or 80s toys or. I mean, Josh, even Four Horsemen. I mean, they're set up there, dude. You gotta go.
Big presence, big presence there.
And I think video game show wise, I think Retropalooza. I mean, it's always a good. So.
Well, I was just about to chime in. Like Retropalooza for me was definitely a highlight up to my life up to this point. But it was more because of the just getting to hang out with you guys and meeting a bunch of other people. Like that was an instance where my haul was kind of dwarfed by just the whole experience and like the camaraderie and all the laughs we shared and all that.
The only
stuff.
thing that was missing at Retropalooza was Melvor.
Yeah,
he's in the chat.
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
We came all the way there for you.
Yeah.
Where were you?
Right.
Nobody wants
Craig,
to see Billy and Jay.
Craig, I don't know if I told you, but the Columbus Toy Show, I think last year's, because they do it twice a year, they started incorporating retro games into the show.
Oh, nice.
So like I think they do it in March and September. I believe their September show last year, they probably had like 4 or 5 tables full of like retro game stuff. So
nice.
If it keeps continuing like that, dude, you'll have to come up, because I mean it's literally like best of all of the worlds. Because like I said, the vintage, the modern, the random stuff, and then like because they had a bunch of like old arcades set up too.
That's awesome.
Where you just walk up and play. So.
And like with all my travels too, like I've noticed that the Midwest, they have the most vintage and cheaper prices than anywhere I've seen in the US. So just for everybody out there, just think of that. Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, like I don't think anything beats it. I don't.
Dude, that flea market you found in Kentucky, or whatever it was called, I forget what we
went to.
Yeah, bro, that was
rough. That was rough.
Oh yeah, outside of that, but it was a cool place, man. That was super
cool. I would go there. I don't know, three times a week before I went to my job location, but that was insane. Like if you were to go to that freaking place, you would need probably 2 days to really pick it through and find some deals. But it was amazing.
It was very fun.
Let's see.
Can I just? I want to make a confession here. I don't know if people on the stream have been watching me go like this. I've done it like 3 times now. This is gonna make me sound so weird. I found this dryer sheet on my floor, and I've literally been like cupping it, and like there's no scent anymore, but like I want there to be one. And I don't know why I felt like sharing with everybody, but that's
just in case we were wondering.
Yeah. I don't want the rumors to fly out, so I just wanted to get in front of it before it became this huge scandal. Yeah, I've been sniffing used dryer sheets.
All right, we got time for a couple more questions, but until then, Josh, what's your thought on Pogs?
Is that a thing?
A little, remember the little Pog game with the slammers, and you never played that?
No, sir. I've been seeing it in the chat, and I'm like, what the hell is a Pog?
What are they talking about?
Yep. Okay. 0, because the only Pog I know of is video game lingo, and it means play of the game.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, what the hell is Pog Con? So no idea, sir. They're awesome.
I also know PAWG, but I'll let the audience look that one up.
Yeah, that's
with your parents' permission, of course.
I'm glad you asked that, Craig, because now I actually know what they are. So explain to me, what are they? What is this thing? What's a Pog thing?
It was like a 90s thing where there were like little round circle things made of cardboard or plastic. It would come in like anything, like juice boxes, crisps, anything would have it. Like Burger King would have it. And it would just feature like a cartoon on it or some type of pop culture reference. Some of them had like their own storyline to it, and you could play a game with it, but I'm not sure. Like you could flip it.
I mean, we all just tried it.
It was like this weird collectible rage thing. Yeah.
How big's your slam?
You guys set this up.
Play for keeps, man.
I'm going to send Josh some Pogs.
Thanks,
I just completed my research. Yeah, that Lion-O I have. There's a couple sold examples on eBay recently for $800.
Shoo-wee.
So I should probably put that in a case or something. Stop touching it.
Really sell it.
Oh yeah,
sell it.
Talk about an ROI. Whew.
Hey Josh, is there anything you want to plug coming up this week on your channel? I know you have the Big 3-0 coming up. Do you have anything planned for that? Videos? Anything?
No, man. I normally do all my filming on weekends, but this weekend I hung out with Kyle and his wife yesterday, so we're just chilling today. So no, I mean I might make some sort of like haul video, like of the comics and stuff that I picked up, but everything else is just birthday live stream on Saturday, man. It's social distance it, and also the people in the chat. No, I was not in a coma, and this was not set up. I do not know what Pogs are, so I want to answer.
Greco, what's coming up on your channel this week?
Who knows, right? What did I promise? Like a video last week that didn't happen. I've just been so scatterbrained as far as like I've literally started and stopped like 4 different types of videos. Like I was doing like a top 10 like of my most surprising, unexpected finds. Things that like when you bring home a whole lot of stuff, then you find it at the bottom of the pile, and it turns out to be like this amazing thing. So I thought that would be a cool video. That's turning into like kind of like an editing hog. So I'm doing it like little by little. Like literally this morning, I filmed something, and I was like, oh, I want to do a video on my toy gambling, since I won some stuff. So I was working on that, but then I ran out to buy some more stuff, so that wasn't finished. I would still hold out hope that might be coming after this. I just got to get back at it. And then I was going to film like stuff on my collection. Like I was going to showcase my like Pee-wee's Playhouse collection, kind of show that off, just to show that I actually do collect things and not just sell them. And like there was like one other video that I thought I could spin up real quick, but kind of failing as a YouTuber recently. So any of those things might happen. I guess the only thing I can guarantee is that we're going to do another live show. If it's not next Sunday, it'll be
the following. Yeah.
Whatever it works out. Next show will be on my channel.
Melbourne, please message me, man. Look in your Instagram and let me know when you can come on.
Yeah, get your naps in ahead of time, because we need you there. Well,
we need you, buddy. Ed, what you got going on, dude?
I'm doing a video on this guy from Spain. He made like a retro or a vintage inspired store display for Motu, Master of the Universe, or what is it in Spanish? Matadores del Universo. I'm not sure.
Why would we know that? I don't know. You just asked us like.
No, you look smart. So
glasses.
So I'm gonna be trying to put that together and then like show what it can do, because I think it'll look cool and it'll be an easy video to make, because I'm doing a new video, Toy History 1, next Saturday. So it's gonna be another week of rushing to get that done. But I like the topic I chose this time around, so it'll be a cool one. It'll be a bit different, but I hope everybody will like it. So
awesome! Congrats on 10K, buddy.
Thanks. Dude, that came like so. Like, what?
Crazy.
I know. Tough, man.
Congrats, brother. For myself, I'm going to have a premiere tomorrow, like I said earlier, of a awesome back room hunt that I did Saturday. So stay tuned for that.
I can see something in the back.
There's some stuff back here. There's some stuff. Can't wait to show it off. But it was a really fun hunt. I'm super excited to premiere it. So that will do it for this week, guys. Thank you for watching and coming along. And Josh, dude, thank you so much for being a guest, man. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So we will see you guys later. Peace.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
And